funding works, you are in the right place. And today, Changemakers, we are excited to welcome a guest who bring both experience and a track record of result when it comes to securing a funding and building impactful ventures. So please join me in welcoming Cho Chi Ho, the CEO and the co-founder of Carbotech, based in Kuala Lumpur. His company is doing impressive work in agri-tech sector, specifically using innovation to improve crop yields by enhancing photosynthesis in plants. It is a blend of science, sustainability, and entrepreneurship, and it's gotten the attention of investors and grant makers alike. So, fun fact, if his name sounds familiar, it might be because he's also featured in the module 1 on our website. So if you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend you to watch his video in our website. So today, Chiho will be sharing his journey, the lesson he's learned about fundraising, and what it really takes to approach investors and grant opportunities with confidence. Chiho, we are really glad to have you with us today. The floor is yours.
Hello. Thank you, Amiro, for the kind introduction. And hello, fellow change makers. I think all of you are from all around Asian countries. So at the moment, I'm actually in Jakarta Airport. So tonight, I'm flying back to Malaysia. And if you are not sure who am I, it's okay. I'm just a White Silly alumni who attended an entrepreneurship seminar together with Rosa, and also I see Ria here, yeah, and also some of the familiar faces. So nice to meet you all again. So a little bit background about Carbotech. So we are a Malaysian startup, like what Amiro has mentioned. We are based in Kuala Lumpur, and we have like a technology-based agricultural solution. And in the past, personally, our strategy in getting funding, it's about attracting grant. And after having some proof of concept and some pilots being completed, then we look for equity investors. So today, the sharing, it's more from my personal experience. So you may not need to be fully agree with what I share. So I foresee this session is more like a discussion session. And later on, you can also ask more questions regarding your project. And we can also dissect what will be the most feasible way or methods to attract funding for your project. Yeah. So now let me share my screen. Hope that you can see my screen in the full screen mode. Yeah. Okay. So to scope down for this funding 101, I will be specifically talking about pre-seed startups. So I suppose some of you, your projects can be developed as an entity or a company to commercialize what you are building. Or you may also considering to turn your project into a social enterprise, which with good social costs, and you will also channel back some of your profit to build certain social causes. Or you may also be foreseeing your project will be turning as an NGO. Yeah, so for a good environmental cause or social cause. So whether you have the aspiration to become a startup, a social enterprise, or an NGO, so today's session will be perfect for you because you will learn some of the basics. Okay. So this session is for, let's say you are already working on an idea or prototype that is able to commercialize. So you are probably considering to have your own startup in the pre-seed stage, or you are aspiring to have your social enterprise, balancing your mission with some profit margin, and you will rechannel some of your profit for the mission or the social cause that you are advocating. Or you are going to build NGO, maybe partnership with some foundation and looking for opportunity to scale your program or impact. So these are the three key things, key organization structure that you have in mind. And this session, you basically understand the key funding process or structure, whether they are suitable for your project, and how can you be better prepared to pitch for their funding. So there are a few types of different funding pathway. So one very attractive one is the non-dilutive one. So that could be from grant, from competition, or even from donation. So this, I think, it's applicable to all of you, even though you are working on pre-seed, social enterprise, or NGO. So this non-dilutive channel is practical. Just that you need to look for a suitable grant provider or competition to participate in. So another category is called dilutive. So this is where you will dilute your own shareholding structure. So for example, if I started like a company as the only business owner, I will own 100% of my shares of the company. But once I onboard angel investors, venture capital, or I raise fund through equity crowdfunding channel, so I will be diluting my shares. So let's say for the round, I open up 10%. So I will only have 90% left. So the 10% will be given to my investors in exchange of their fund. So this is the dilutive category. And then another category is revenue based. So if let's say your project are already generating revenue, sizable one, and maybe you have some invoices from your customers, so you could consider loans because this kind of funding, it's good in the sense that you don't want to dilute your equity. Another form or another category, it's like a hybrid. So this one, it's more from the impact investors or philanthropies. So they are like a mix of investment, equity investment or donation. So I saw someone raise your hand. Yeah, because I'm sharing screen, so I couldn't look at the name. So you may want to unmute and ask any question if you have. Yeah, someone raise your hand,
I'm
right? Or
sorry. I just renamed my name and it's just a mistake. Sorry, sir.
okay, no worries, no worries. Okay, so let me deep dive into the first bucket of first channel, grant. So if let's say you are looking for grant, we can look for some potential foundations or NGOs. So I have named a few here that you may want to look up if let's say you are really interested in looking for grant or applying for grant. So, and I would like to apologize, my slide are full of words. I don't have much visual because I will share this file later on after this presentation so that you could actually use this file as your guideline to look for funding. So I have also included some links in this document so that you can also find out more about some of the grant channel or investor channel. Any projects are based in Malaysia? Anyone? If they are, you can also look for organization like Yayasan Hasana. So it's a foundation, Hasana Foundation that is funded by our Malaysian sovereign fund. So this Yayasan Hasana grant amount is not huge, but it's a good seed starting for your project. So I think now they are accepting another round of opening. So if you are looking for seriously building your current project, you can look up for Yayasan Hasana or even Maybank Foundation if you are based in Malaysia. For those who are based out of Malaysia, to look for some other global foundations like Gates, Ford Foundation, etc. And you may be wondering, like, whether my project fits into the calling of all these foundations. So the typical criteria that you need to follow is that your project needs to be aligned with SDGs, any of the SDGs, and with very clear problem statement that you are trying to solve. And you also need to prove in your application that your project is scalable and you are working closely with community, meaning you will have the community buy-in. So usually all these foundations, they value your social impact. So you, in your narrative, you need to build more on your storytelling regarding how your project can help people. What are the social impacts or environmental impacts? So I think theory of change is also something that you will learn through the ImpactSEA program. So make sure you develop a robust theory of change concept so that you can put it in your narrative. And you could also demonstrate some of your past impact with data, with stories. If your project is not something new, you have been working on it for quite a while. So definitely you'll have some good stories or data to show in terms of your actual impact. Yeah. So, okay. Yep. Next. Okay. So if you are looking for some government grant, so because I'm from Malaysia, so I list down some of the government agencies that are providing grant for Malaysian projects. So for example, the Ministry of Science and Technology, Innovation, MOSI, Cradle. Cradle, it's an agency under the ministry as well. And that SME Corp. So all of these agencies will periodically provide grant opportunities. Yeah, and talking about ASEAN, you can look for ADB. Talking about global, you can look for Innovate UK, EU Horizons. So these are some examples of government or private sector grants. So these grants are usually good to support early research and development or pilot projects or even ecosystem building. So how can you access to all these opportunities? You just need to subscribe to their newsletter, monitor their portal, or even understand when is the opening of this grant cycle and get to know their expectation as well. Okay, so these are some links that I will share later, the whole document, but I would like to ask some of the change makers here. Yeah, so any one of you are looking for grant money to further fund your project, maybe you would like to click raise hand in Zoom. Anyone is looking for grant to further support your project? No one? Anyone is looking for grant to support your project? You can raise your hand.
Yeah, I think there is someone's like who's that?
Okay.
No fee, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
Novi,
Yeah.
can you unmute and share more about your project? Novi, will you be able to unmute and share?
Okay. Sorry, but I couldn't open my camera now. So, actually, this one is not for the team that I have in this program, but it's for the organization that I have initiated. So it's basically a project that we focus on, like developing inclusion
Mhm.
in terms of helping people with employment.
Okay,
I-
so meaning you are helping more like employment inclusivity.
Yes.
Which
Career,
country are you from?
Sorry,
Which country are you from?
Indonesia.
Is your project also focusing in Indonesia?
Yes. For
Mhm.
now, because it's a new organization, so we just focus on one country first.
Mhm. So in that sense, if you're looking for grant, you may also want to check out this ASEAN Foundation. So I understand that they are not opening their grant application yet, but you can look at it maybe subscribe to their newsletter and whatnot if your project is focusing in Indonesia. So Tan Kao Kim, yeah, I hope that I'm pronouncing your name correct, from Myanmar. Do you want to share a little bit about your project? Kim, right? Tan
Yeah.
Kao Kim. Yeah.
Sir?
Yeah. Can you share about your project? You mentioned that you are looking for grant.
Actually, I just started salt. Want to be like Himalayan. Our salt is what differentiate from other salt is that it's from one of the Asian city, UNESCO city. It comes from land, not from ocean, and it helps people. It also helps people health, like how can I say?
So I understand it's a sort that it's
It
produced
helps
locally.
to. It helps to. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-mm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
And I
So
want to go global, and I need funding. Yeah.
mm-mm. So to check out this two link, although this one is also not open yet. So the first one and the second one are the same grant. It's an Australian ASEAN grant. So why two links? So
Mm.
one link you will get to look at some other previous successful projects, meaning they successfully gotten the grant from this Australian ASEAN Council. So that is like a reference for you to see what kind of projects they are looking for. And usually they open every end of the year. So since you are talking about going global, you may want to consider this, but you need to look for an Australian partner to apply this together. Yeah. So you need to try to find who could be in Australia, maybe a university or a private entity if also possible. And also, I would like to share this A Asia Foundation grant. So Asia Foundation grant, they will be closing their application very soon, I think end of this month. So if your project is with certain social impact element, you can also consider applying for this grant if you require further funding to support your project. Okay, so next let me go to Aina from Indonesia. Maybe you would like to elaborate about your project?
Okay. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes.
Actually, for the last 2 years, we have the wetland project, like such as peatlands, as well as the biodiversity within them, and also, some wetland conservation. So that
Mm,
I have been already applied to several grants for recently, but it was not successful. So I want to ask, do you have any tips on how to make our project more likely to be accepted by donors or grants? Thank you.
mm-mm. So for your conservation project, in your application, do you show that how can you be self-sustained in the future without grant?
Uh, if without grant, yes, actually, because we work with the community, but we would like to make it huge and to give a lot of impact to another, like for, yeah, yeah, huge impact.
Mm-mm. So usually in your application, I would suggest you may want to tell more stories about how in the future, after you receive this grant, in the future, you are able to be self-sustained without grant. Maybe from some income generation from the community or whatnot. So you need to make the story really compelling so that the grant entity will feel that, oh, this is just a starting capital for you and planting the seeds into your project. Then your project can be self-sustained. Yeah, it's not like you need to look for another grant, then the third grant, fourth grant. So if your story on that part of the self-sustainability is very compelling, you will have a higher chances. Yeah. But of course, all these grants are super competitive. So later on in the end of this presentation, I will share my email and whatnot. So for your next application, if you require like me to review the application, I could also help.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, so for the conservation one, meaning the project that you are working on, you also check out this Asia Foundation grant. Yeah, they are still open right now. But I think more for the ASEAN biodiversity one already closed. You may want to wait for the next opening. So let me move on to the next. from Philippines. Can you share your project?
Okay. Hello. So my project is actually it's about rainwater harvesting systems. So basically we build rainwater harvesting systems for a floating community here in the Philippines. And what we actually do is through this rainwater harvesting system we provide them water and also to tackle sanitation issues in that community. So yeah, and we're actually looking for grants, and but then what we have did so far is just through competition grants, small grants actually, more on like around 2,000 US dollars mainly. So yeah, just did.
Mm-mm. Have you completed the grant cycle? Meaning you have executed the grant, you have measured the impact.
Yeah, we already completed one grant that's from Habitat for Humanity, and it's only 2,000 US dollars. Yeah, but
So
then yeah, we're having a hard time to have another. Yeah, so that's it.
yeah. So in your future application, I would suggest that you can also share about your previous grant, how you execute it, how many people that you have benefited, what are the social impacts that you have created. So with that proof, meaning you have already executed that with that evidence, it's better for you. I mean, you have higher chances to get another grant, for example.
Okay.
Meaning you have shown your capability of execution, also the benefits to the community. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, can I have Sajid? Sajid. Where are you from, Sajid? Sajid, are you there? If not, then I move to Trishna. Trishna from Indonesia.
Hello, I'm sorry. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can open my camera because I have a low bandwidth. Okay.
Yeah, you can share about your project.
Yeah. Okay. I want to seek my funding for business that I have founded to develop business on focusing on seafood waste and coastal plastic pollution while empowering local coastal communities.
Can you repeat again? I couldn't hear clearly. Reducing plastic waste.
Yeah, I want to processing plastic waste pollution from
Meaning
sea.
you will collect plastic waste and you process it and you
Yes,
make it
and
into what?
I want to make become an energy to support. I have seafood processing waste also, and I want the plastic waste to become an energy to substitute my energy to processing a seafood waste. Because before I have a project uh, that uh, crab shell and shrimp shell become to uh, feed that have has energy. Now, I want to the energy from that plastic waste.
So meaning you have a technology that you
Yes.
can actually use plastic waste to generate another form of energy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I
And
think that one will feed into what I have mentioned just now. You can explore this kind of grant because when technology is involved and you need like more R&D, more pilots, you can actually look up for like all these other channel to look for grant. But I think you need to also be really clear, like summarize what you do to put a very strong narrative in the application. Yeah,
yes.
because just now as you explain it, I couldn't understand at the very first place. So after I ask question, then you clarify, yes, I could understand. So meaning when you have the opportunity to explain or present your project to a potential grant provider, make sure that you summarize what you do in a very short sentence to make sure that they are attracted or they are hooked to your project. Yeah. Okay, so let me go to the next one. I think the question is posted in the group. If you manage to get funding, how can we make sure we stick to our original vision without the funders trying to change or control it? So now we are talking about grant. So definitely all this grant is you are the one who submit the document for the application. So the documents crafted by you is of course following your vision. So usually the grant provider will award you with a grant if your projects are aligned with their mandate or their goals. So for example, AirAsia Foundation, because they are an airline, so they will be focused more on countries that they have flying destination to, right? So they will talk more about the social goods. So meaning if your project has social impacts, also they can relate into their holiday tourism kind of narrative or storytelling, then you will be a better fit. So you need to see which are the grant provider that actually suits to your vision. Yeah. Don't simply apply to everything. Yeah. Okay. Grant focusing on education. So I think one you can check out Gates Foundation, this one, Gates Foundation and Ford Foundation. They do have some education element, but you need to check out when is their next opening. Yeah. So for startups or impact company, so just now we have covered quite a bit of grant from government, from foundation. So what are the other opportunities? So I'm sharing with you here this climate impact innovation. This challenge is also what we, Carbotech, we took part in 2023, and we received a grant to fund our pilot in Indonesia, although we are a Malaysian company. So the grant provider is by Temasek Foundation. It's like a competition format. So what they offer is cash grants for you to run your pilot. They offer mentorships. And of course, because this is a competition in Indonesia, you also gain exposure, visibility. So this one is still opening. Yeah, so you can apply, you can check whether your solution fits into this. So they are looking for more like a technology-based company or technology-based startup. So if you are working on a project with technology element, you can consider. So they have a few vertical as well. You can also check it out. So they are looking for renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, green tech kind of stuff. And another program, it's by Shell. So they call it LifeWire, Shell LifeWire. So this one, we have it in Malaysia and also in some other oil producing countries. I know Brunei also have their own Shell LifeWire program. So this program also will give you like a small cash grant. So the climate impact innovation one is quite a big amount of grant. But for this Shell LifeWire, it's just a small amount, but you will get visibility and mentorship as well. And from the mentors, you perhaps could actually network with your potential angel investors. Okay. So these two are still live. You can still apply it right now. And I will also like to share some of the other accelerator or competitions available in the region. So to look out for UOB Green Lab Green Tech Accelerator. So if you are working on some green technology stuff, you can actually look out for this. So they will also open usually end of the year. And if you are building some AI, you need to use crowd or whatnot. So there's this program by Google for Startups Accelerator. So they will give you free credits to build your cloud system, your even AI related solution. So they give you free credit. So you can also look up for that. So this one is also opening right now. You can also check it out. So in general, how to stand out in all these competitions or all these opportunities. So you need to have a very strong pitch narrative. You have a very valid problem to solve. Your solution is a right fit to solve the problem, and the market is huge enough. Because usually this grant is just for you to kickstart your project or your solution for pilot. So you need to prove that the market is big enough. After the grant, you can be self-sustained. And your project or your company or your startup could potentially create huge impact. So you need to tell the story of impacts here. And you also need to highlight why your team is so special, why your team is able to execute this project. And if let's say you have already garnered some early tractions in your local community, you have someone already working with you, also include all those tractions. Yeah. Okay, so do check out these two. Personally, I have participated in both of the program. They are super good, value adding to the company. And another thing that I would like to share, and this Tech Planter is actually the first competition that I took part in Malaysia. So they have Tech Planter Malaysia, Tech Planter Indonesia, Tech Planter Singapore. So they are in a few countries. So for Tech Planter Malaysia already closed the application. But for this Tech Planter Indonesia, the closing date is tomorrow. So if you are based in Indonesia and you are working on some technology related element in your project, so do consider in applying for this. So this competition award money, it's not that big, but they were able to connect you with corporate partners or companies in Indonesia, meaning you can run a POC or pilot with these companies or these corporate partners. Yeah, so do check out if it's suitable for your project. So another channel to get investment is through angel investors or impact investors. So who are angels? So angels are high net worth individuals. They typically invest very early. So maybe before you raise any other equity investment. So they will usually look for scalable model, meaning you have the business model that could scale very fast. And they are convinced that your team is capable of executing the project. And also your values, your mission, it's aligned with their personal values. Maybe the angel investor is into agriculture, would like to create social impact. So if your project is related to his or her personal alignment, then you have a higher chance. Yeah. So what about impact investors? So impact investors, usually they will look for some kind of social and environmental impact, and with maybe some financial returns as well. So they are not solely supporting you to build some social good causes or environmental causes, but they are also looking for some financial return. So make sure that when you present to them, your project needs to have a very strong, scalable business model. And what to prepare? You need to have very clear cap table, meaning your shareholding structure. You have very realistic financial projections, maybe like 1 to 3 years kind of projections with assumptions, and you clearly communicate all those assumptions in your financial projections. And you need to show to them that these projections are realistic, achievable. Not to say like in 3 years you want to become a unicorn. Maybe for them it's like not realistic because you are just starting it. Yeah. And also you need to tie in with very, very clear impact KPI. So this impact would be how many people that you have benefited, how much income have you helped them to generate in additional. So here I have included a few links. So MBAN Emban is Malaysian Business Angel Networks. So you can look for their upcoming events if you are based in Malaysia. So they are a network of Malaysian angel investors. And in Indonesia, I know that this organization or this network is based in Bali. They call Bali Investment Club. They are also comprises of a group of angel investors who support good social or impact-based companies. And another network is called Epic Angels Networks. So this group is mainly consists of female angel investors. So I see quite a number of the change makers here are female. So they are supporting female founders or female change maker to build their project or to build their company. So if you have at least one female team member or female co-founder, you can also look up for them. So their model is also angel investors, but it's also like another form of equity crowdfunding, because they usually gather a group of female investors and they invest into your company or your project together. Meaning you will have maybe 40 to 50 investors supporting you. And these 40 to 50 female investors, they are working professional in different companies in different countries. So some of them could have the network that you would like to penetrate. For example, in this, we got the investment from Epic Angels, and one of the angel investor, she's working in an agriculture company in Thailand. And with that, we got the access into the agricultural company to run a pilot. Yeah, so meaning all these investors that you are looking for should also in a way create strategic value to your company or to your project. Yeah. And if you are even more serious to build your startup to the next level, you can consider accelerators or some incubator programs. So all these accelerator and incubators, they usually don't provide you with a lot of funding. Maybe they just give you a small amount, but they have really good expert mentors and they have really good connection with other investors. So in general, you can look up for Y Combinator, Techstar, 500 Global, or Antler. So all these venture capital, they also run accelerators. So this is for general company and startups. But if your companies or your project is very concentrated on social rather than just purely financial return, you can look up for Impact Hub. So Impact Hub, they have quite a number of offices around the world. So for example, we have Impact Hub Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. And you can also look up for Village Capital. So they run fully online accelerator programs that would actually refine your business elements in your project. So some tips, you need to highlight the problem solution fit. So meaning how your solution can fit the problem really nicely, and founder market fit as well. Meaning you are the right founder and you are operating in the right market. So all these narrative need to be right. Then you will have a higher chance to be accepted into this kind of accelerator and incubators. Yeah, and you need to be really humble and willing to learn, be coachable, and you need to genuinely show that you have the growth potential personally or as an organization. Okay. So next, it's about crowdfunding. So this crowdfunding can be donation-based, can be reward-based, or even equity-based. So if you are building, like, let's say, just now Aina is talking about a conservation project. So you can actually find out more on Launchwood or GoFundMe to see if there's any narrative that you could leverage on. Meaning you can post a project there and you look for donation. Or if you are building some products, maybe you are working with community, let's say just now Changemaker mentioned about sorts. So if you are already building the sort product, you can also try to raise money from this kind of crowdfunding platform, Kickstarter or Indiegogo, but you need to have really strong narrative and good marketing visuals so that these donors or funders will also get maybe a quarter of your sort by supporting your project. Yeah. So these are some channels that you could check out. And usually this kind of crowdfunding platform will be best for community-based initiative, for your product launch, or even for some pilot project funding. So if you are looking for equity crowdfunding, it depends on how your country regulate that. So for example, in Malaysia, we have some platforms like Pitchpin, also Atapas. So these are some of the platforms in different countries regulated by the authority to help startup raise fund through all this ECF platform, we call it. Yeah, so and for example, Kickstarter and Indiegogo, you can log into the website and find other projects and see how these project owners are telling their compelling story. Usually they have very compelling video, stories, marketing, material. So you can actually learn from all these project owners and try to create some things on your own. Yeah. And also, I'm not sure like how your country is executing their tax implication or tax policy. So you may also want to check if, let's say, you have raised fund from Launch Food, for example, how do you need to report tax in your own country? So these are some consideration for you. Okay. So yeah, let me address some of the question in the chat. How can we proactively plan for possibility that funding may no longer be available? Okay, so therefore, Yati, you need to show that after the grant funding, your project is able to be self-sustained, meaning you are generating some revenue from somewhere. So for example, like the SOT project mentioned by another Changemaker. So maybe you just need a startup capital to kickstart your SOT production. But after that, you will receive revenue by selling the SOT, for example. So that kind of self-sustainable model is what the grant provider is looking for. Yeah. For Novi, for non-profit organization, how can we sustain our project after receiving a grant? Should we apply and reapply? Okay. So for non-profit organization, you also need to find a revenue model. Meaning, let's say you tie with a donation from consumer, meaning like a monthly donation kind of project to support your non-profit good cause. For example, let me quote an NGO that I know, World Vision, for example. So they are working a lot on local community building project, meaning they will enter like a local community for maybe 20 years and try to improve the livelihood of the people there. So they will start with education, they will start with training their parents to be more skillful in doing some kind of jobs or farming, for example. So then they will fundraise or they fund their project through monthly donation by end consumer. So that is also like your self-sustained model that you need to show to your grant provider. Okay. And sometimes, so this there are some grant provider, for example, Gates Foundation. They are looking for NGO or non-profit that would actually work on a specific project for a longer term, let's say 5 years, 10 years. So they will reward the funding for a long duration as well. But you need to prove that your team is able to execute that. Okay, Yati mentioned startup should begin by bootstrapping. What if we don't need that? Okay, so it depends on what you want, Yati. If you can get grant and not diluting your shares, that it's absolutely fine. Of course, grant will take time to apply. Also, you need to submit a number of reports. The reporting has to be there. Yeah. So you need to evaluate whether worth your time or not. So because if you don't have financial resources, you can't bootstrap, right? So you definitely need to look for funding. But what kind of funding is the most suitable for your project? That's your call. That's your decision. Maybe Yati, you would like to share your project again with me? If let's say I forgot about the project, maybe you can elaborate about your project, Yati. Yati, are you there?
Yeti from Myanmar.
In your mind, and we wait for Yati to be back. Okay, so Krishna. Okay, Krishna, can you share with me your project? Krishna, are you there?
Sir,
Hello? Yes?
can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, my previous project is natural dye kit for textile.
Okay. So what do you do?
Yeah, I make a DIY kit for students and Gen Z to explore sustainable color.
I see. Okay. So meaning your project has also received early traction, meaning you have already some early customers.
Yeah, we have some.
So you are asking that you need to be a legally registered entity. So you haven't registered your company? Have you
Not,
registered? Not yet?
yeah.
Mhm. So usually why all these funder would like to have you register a legal entity is that they wanted you to be serious in what you are doing. Because when you are really serious, then only you will register the entity, right? Yeah, so there are also some fundings not requiring that. Yeah, so you need to look for a suitable fund provider or funding scheme. But majority of them require you to have the legal entity because they want to see that you are serious with what you are building. And the funding is not channeling to your personal account. So you have a legal entity, you have your legal bank account, then the funding will channel to the legal entity. Yeah, so usually that's how the funding scheme works, majority. And some other alternative, it's like some competition that you can take part in. So usually in this competition, the award money, sometimes they can be more flexible. Not necessarily you need to be having this formal or legal entity. So once you take part in this competition and you win the award money, then you can use the award money to set up your own legal entity. Then you look for a bigger grant. Yeah. So do you understand, Krishna?
Society, thank you for your suggestions, Mister.
Yeah. Okay, all the best to you. Okay, some other form of funding will be philanthropy or venture philanthropy. So usually, like all these high net worth individual, HNWI is high net worth individuals, they can give you as a donation or family officers if your project is aligned with their mission, or they could also be venture philanthropy, meaning they are strategic funders providing you with capital and some advisory. So you can also check out Acumen or Skoll Foundation here. So what do you do to attract this kind of people? So it's very much relationship driven because all these funder, they need to know you as a person first. They need to know that you are really passionate about the project that you are building. They trust you, you can execute well, then only they will donate this kind of funding to you. Or they could share with you when the application is live. So meaning another thing that you need to have in mind is that you need to provide very compelling, very transparent reporting to the donor or to the philanthropist to provide you with the money. Yeah. Okay. So next, it's revenue-based financing. So it could be microloans. So this one usually it's when you already generating revenue. So this one is more flexible. You don't need to dilute your shares. But the one thing is your project or your company must be already generating stable revenue. So then you can actually consider this kind of loan. So do check out some microloans for NGO or social enterprise like Tiba, Grameen, or even some of your local cooperative. Okay. So all in all, you need to ask these two questions to yourself or to your teammates as well. How much do you need? And can you really show the return on investment? Like meaning, let's say the grant provider provides you with the grant. What is the social ROI for them? What is the impact for them? And for equity investor, what is a financial return? What is the financial ROI? Okay. So after you have cleared up your direction, then you ask yourself again, are you ready for like angel investor, equity investor, or is it better to try grant first? So that depends on your project status and your project level as well. Okay, then next, you need to build like the funding roadmap. So usually I recommend you to start with non-dilutive, which is grant first. Use the grant to run more pilots to prove your concept, prove your execution and your early traction. Then only you move to investors. And you select investors that could add value to your current project. Yeah, meaning maybe they have certain network, they could be your potential customers, or they could link you up with your potential customers. And how to get ready. So you need to have your pitch deck, your budget, your theory of change, and or your team biographies. Then some of the metrics, especially if you are building something like a social enterprise, you need to have impact KPIs. You need to have your traction milestone, your forecast, okay, your market size as well. And in your narrative or your storytelling, you need to always emphasize why you do it now. Why now? Meaning the problem is really urgent, the problem statement. Yeah, meaning we have to solve the problem now. And why you? Why your team? How can you execute this? And why this matters? Yeah. So why solving problem matters to you and your team? Why is this so important? Why other people cannot do what you do? Yeah. So that is a summary about what you should build up in your narrative, in your pitching and storytelling. And some common mistakes to avoid. It's a lack of focus in your application. So just now I have shared a number of different foundation, different accelerator. So all these different foundation, each of them has very unique proposition. So they are looking for something very different than each other. So you don't use the same application document sent to all these opportunities. So that won't work. You need to customize and tailor exactly to the suitability of the grant provider or the accelerator organizer. So you need to somewhat tailor your application accordingly. Although you are working on the same project, but your narrative can be slightly different to suit the grant provider. Okay. And another mistake to avoid is no clarity on funding ask or use, meaning you don't actually know how much do you need. And after receiving the fund, what do you do with the fund? What are you going to deliver? To make sure you are clear on that first before you apply. Yeah, it's not you will create like a bad impression on your project name or your company name. There also avoid over-promising impact or returns. So be very realistic. Make sure that you set achievable targets. If not, maybe they will not disburse the grant to you fully if you cannot meet some of the impact that you have committed. And don't ignore the funder alignment or funder fit. So for example, if the funder are looking for social impact, make sure that your project actually can deliver that social impact. Yeah. Okay, so some final key takeaways. Start with purpose aligned capital. So I have shared multiple channels that where you can raise your fund, but all these channels are not for everyone. So maybe there are some foundation or some channels suit you, but there are many actually don't suit you. So you don't apply for those that do not suit you, because it's a waste of their time and your time as well. Okay. Focus on relationships, not just transaction, because all these grant provider, they may have other partnership with other entities as well. So if let's say you cannot, you are not shortlisted for a particular grant, but if you have built like a good impression, you have left a very good impression because of your project impact or whatnot. So the persons in the organization may refer other opportunities to you if there are other partners or other opportunities. So always track, report, and communicate your impact, even though you are not applying at that moment. I'm sure you already have your social media for your project or website of your project. Always update your impact, your progress in all this channel. So not to say that, oh, I'm applying for this grant and only I put in all my impact in the grant application document only. Okay, so and funding is a journey. So be prepared, learn, and iterate along the way. So for information, I have pitched to more than 100 investors, potential investors. Then only I found my first investor for my company. Yeah. So all the best to all of you. So now I open up the floor to Q&A. And this is my email. If you have any other questions, you can drop me email or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. So now I open up for any of you if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, or if you would like to pitch about your project, also take this opportunity. Anyone?
Hi, Changemakers. If you want to ask, just raise and unmute your mics. This is a golden opportunity from Chiho. Yes, we have Christian from Indonesia.
Yes.
Hi, sir. So I'm planning to participate in a business plan competition.
Yes.
The problem is they're asking for a problem. Sorry, I mean financial projection or a forecast, but the problem is I don't have a sales yet. How do I solve that?
You don't have what?
Like financial projection or sales forecast.
Mm-hmm.
Like they ask for it, but I haven't even started the business yet.
Mm-hmm. So can you share more about your project?
So I'm planning to make something of in the market there is like ugly fruit like the one people doesn't pick but still edible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm planning to turn that into fish food. Like there's a
Okay.
research for it that turns out that kind of fruit can have multiple nutritions for the fishes. So I'm planning to make fish food out of the ugly fruit.
Okay. So do you have any competitors? Have you researched any potential competitors? Anyone making fish food from those ugly foods?
So far I haven't found any since people usually make them out of shrimps or worms or fishes that fish spots like fins or tails.
Mhm. Okay, are you from an university working on nutrition profile?
No, I'm actually on business major.
I see. Yeah, so maybe you need to present your case with more solid examples. What kind of agri-food, what kind of food that you are targeting, and what kind of nutrient profile that this could contain and could be beneficial for the fish. So that's one. And then you try to look for like how you want to market your fish feed. Who are your customers? And even if you don't have your product right now, talk to some of your potential customers and collect their verbal feedback, whether they are interested to buy the fish feed from you. So you need to gather some market data first. Then only you can project for your sales. You get what I mean? You need to talk to some of your customers, just like what I have shared in the videos in the website of ImpactSEA. You need to be close to your customer, gather all their insights. Yeah. With all that data, then maybe you can work on your business plan, your sales projection, and whatnot. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. It
Yeah.
was very helpful.
Hope that is how. Okay. Yeah. Anyone else would like to ask a question?
I have a question, Chiho.
Yes.
Yeah, it's me, Rosa. So you said that you have more than 100 pitching to get one funding, right? So what
Mhm.
keeps you going on the hard days? So when you face rejection or that, something like that. Thank you.
Mhm, mhm. Because I believe, I mean, that time I believe that I will meet my perfect investor, meaning the investor that could fit with what we are looking for. Just like in any relationship kind of matchmaking, uh, the first one that you meet, maybe it's not a suitable one, right? So you need to meet more and you treat it as your learning opportunity. As you pitch, you refine, then you become more experienced in your next pitch. And maybe because I'm passionate about what we are building at Carbotech, so I don't mind to meet more people, share with them, even though I pitched to more than 100, but all of them, I would say maybe 80% of them, they are nice people. Just that our solution does not fit into what they are looking for. Maybe 20% of them say really harsh words to me, but 80% of them are actually very encouraging. Yeah, so I learned something out of the pitching to all these potential investors. Yeah. And also, you need to have really like a strong team as your support system. You cannot do this on your own alone. Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
Mm.
So thank you, Chiho.
And Chiho, I think we have a question from the chat box.
Okay.
From Laurencia, is it possible to combine the business sector with the social sector? I have a business in the education sector in the form of educational comics that aim to increase the literacy rate of children, especially those who do not yet have access to education. For this comic, there is actually a paid version for those who do not have economic constraint and unpaid version for those who do. Then what type of funding is suitable for this?
Mhm. So, meaning your comics already up and running, right, Laurencia?
Yes.
And you already have paying customers?
For the customer, I already have about 5 customers, but not plenty.
Mm-mm. Okay, so I would like to suggest that you only look for paying customers, don't look for unpaid version. So who are going to pay for those who have economic constraints? Maybe you look for some NGO. who are interested in increasing literacy rate of children. You work with this NGO. The NGO pay you so that the children who have economic constraint can also have access to your comics. So what you need to look for is those education-based or education-related types of NGOs. You get what I mean?
I know. Okay, I get that.
Yeah. So meaning you, for the children point of view, it's unpaid, but from your point of view, it's actually paid by the NGO. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Mhm. And
Thank you for
also
that.
now you are talking about 5 paying customers, right? Am I right?
Yes, it is right.
Yeah. Can you explain more about who are they? Are they individual or organization?
It is just individual, but not organization. Is there?
Mhm.
I have to do some. Maybe you have some.
Okay, so I would suggest you to look for more customer first. Because if you want to pitch to an NGO to be your partner, 5 individuals right now, it's not a lot. Meaning you need to look for maybe 30 to 50 kind of customers or individuals so that you have data to show to this NGO. Or actually, this 50 customer hit my program and their literacy improved. So you need to show some kind of impact or some early traction to the NGO. Yeah. So then only they will be more convinced to work with you. So if let's say from 5 customer right now to 50, you require certain funding, you will need to look for grant. So once you have grant to support you to scale to 50 paying customers, then you can start to look for partners like NGO and whatnot to be your organizational customer. So that's my suggestion. I'm not sure whether it's suitable for you, but that's based on what you have explained to me. Yeah.
Thank you
Okay.
for the explanation. It is very clear, and I will try to apply it to my business.
Okay. Yeah, Yudar, you raise your hand.
Yeah, thank you so much, Iho, for the insightful discussion for today. I have several questions, but the first one is, when you determine your amount of money to raise, what is your consideration? Is it the amount of money you need until you profitable or what? And the second is, if you shoot, for example, this round 500K and you didn't get it, are you going to go with the amount of money you collected, or you still open the round? Thank you so much.
So in my example, we raise the fund is not for profitable, it's for our growth. So we raise grant to prove pilot concept, to prove that our technology works in the commercial field. So that pilots actually are our good testimonial to get more customers. So when we have more customers, but our own production facility, that time we were producing in a lab, so it's a small scale production, wouldn't meet the demand of our customer. So we raise an equity round to look for equity investors to fund us to build our pilot production facility. So it's not for profitability, it's for our growth, meaning we have now more orders, we need a bigger factory. So the funding used to set up our bigger factories is to show to the investors that the growth potential is there and we need your help for us to even get more orders so that they will have better future ROI. And for your second question, if let's say you have a target to raise, let's say 500,000, for example. So I suppose in your 500,000, you have the breakdown of what you want to spend for, right? Maybe now you just able to raise 100,000. So for the spend that you would like to spend, maybe you need to revise that 100,000. What can you do? If you can still progress, you can still proceed with your business or running the company, let's do that. Let's just close the 100K, do like a smaller version first rather than 500,000, and use that to prove to more investors that you are able to execute well. Then you look for even a more bigger size of funding in the future. Yeah, but if let's say that 100K, you really cannot break it down, you really need the 500K, then just be persistent and look for that total amount if you cannot really break down on a smaller milestone. Yeah.
All right. Can I ask about your experience when you reach out to the investor? Are you like cold call by email or directly meet them?
Usually I will go for different events, in-person events. Because I think in the region, Malaysia and Indonesia, we have a lot of events by the ministry, by government agency, by private entities, whereby all these potential angel investors would attend, or even venture capitalists would attend. So in these events, you try to talk to more people, as many as possible. Try to get to know them, know about which division they are from. So usually you ask more questions first in your interaction so that you understand them better before you share your solution or technology. Yeah. If let's say after you ask question, you know that, oh, it's not a good fit, then you don't need to talk that much about your company and technology. If you feel that there's an alignment with them, yeah, you can share more and see how they react. Then if they are really interested, then you share more. Yeah, so it's very organic and very dependent on how you interact and the response from the other individual. Yeah. So I still believe that in-person communication is better than online or virtual communication. Yeah, so that will really make that connection and they will understand you as a person, as an individual. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Iho.
Chiho, we have another question in the chat box.
Okay.
From Fatika. She asked, based on your pitching experience, like you said that you learned a lot about many things during the process. What do you think is the most important part that makes you got your first funding? Is it the similar goal with the investor or the way you deliver your business idea or else? Thanks.
Okay, so just like I mentioned, I pitched to more than 100 investors and only I got my first funding, right? So actually the first funder, I didn't pitch to him directly, but some other potential investors I pitched to refer us to him. Then this investor was liking our technology and the team. So they decided to invest even before I pitched to them. Yeah, so that's the actual scenario happened for my first funding. So I remember that time, even though we didn't pitch to them directly, because of the referral, shared about our technology, about company with them. So the first meeting is talking about the agreement of the fundraising agreement and whatnot. We didn't chat about the technology, the company, and all that. Yeah. So what do you think is the most important part make you got my first funding? It's because I have pitched to 100 investors and maybe 80% of them are really good people who help me to connect with other investors in their networks. Yeah. So the community effect, I would say. Yep. Okay, I hope that I answer your question.
Mark,
Thank you
where's
very
your...
much.
By the way, we only have 2 more slots for question before we end the session. So Mark, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, hello, good afternoon, sir. I understand that the investors really look into the funding also, and we at the end of these modules, we will be able to pitch our projects to investors. The concern now is that we don't know how much the investors can give, like maybe they are, we might be overestimating the cost of the project, and it might not, look feasible at the end of the investor. So can we, is there a strategy where we can really make the funding of our project in a flexible mode so that, it may not be that overwhelming on the part of the investors, because we have no idea how much we can really provide for the project that we will be pitching to them.
So maybe you change its perspective. You don't think from their perspective how much they can fund you. You look at your own growth. How much do you need for your next growth, right? How much do you need to execute the project, let's say for 2 years, so that you can be self-sustained after 2 years? Yeah, so it's not about how much they could give you, but it's how much do you really want to grow your business or to grow your project. So let's say this one investor may not able to give you the full amount. You can have multiple investors, right? So one thing that you need to be really clear and firm is that how much do you need? What are the things that you are going to achieve in these 2 years, for example? And if let's say this ideal scenario is not able to happen, what is your smaller plan B? Like maybe you need a lesser amount of money in order to get you from point A to point B, but you need a bigger money to get you from point A to point C. So all these different scenarios, you need to have that already in your deck, maybe in the appendix. So you can actually flesh it out to show to your potential investors. Yeah. So you need to be firm. So don't let the investor to dictate you, but you need to be firm that, oh, I need this one so that I can achieve this kind of target in 2 years, this kind of execution in 2 years. We are open to look for more investors to coming in for this round. Yeah.
All right. So if they ask questions like, is there a way you can lessen the budget? Because right now, this is what we can give you for the 2-year project. How do you
Then
respond to that?
you can say that, or I can look for other investors if you don't mind, meaning they can come in together with you to fund this. Yeah. Yeah, because you need to justify why you are so confident that you need this amount to execute this in 2 years. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? One more question before we end the session. Changemakers, this is your golden opportunity to ask Chiho itself. Calling once, calling twice. There's no one wanna ask question. I think they are very clear about everything for today's session. So thank you so much, Chiho, for the incredible, insightful session. You've given us a lot to think about when it comes to funding and approaching investor with clarity and confidence. And thank you as well for taking the time to respond to everyone's question. It's been a very engaging session. So before we officially wrap up, we love to invite you to share your final thoughts or advice with the change makers today.
Yeah, I think with your team, you all need to be really aligned on what you want to achieve. And you cannot do this alone. You need a team. So make sure the alignment is there before you pitch to any grant provider or funders. Yeah, you need to be really like in synchronized with your team. Don't show that you are having disagreement or conflict in front of us, in front of investors or in front of grant providers.
All right. Thanks again, Chiho. And before anyone leaves, let's take a quick screen selfie together. So everybody, please turn on your cameras and we want to take our pictures together with our speakers today. All right, everybody can turn on your camera.
Okay, guys, let's put your best smile and I will screen selfie everyone. Okay, for the first page, let's go. Okay, wait, just wait. Hold on your smile. One more. 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, one last
Excuse me, Kak Grace, where is Chiho? I don't think Chiho.
Yes.
Yes, there is
Okay, okay.
Chiho. There's Chiho here. Okay. Let's go one more time. In 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, thanks so much, Chiho. Have a pleasant flight back to home.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
Sorry. And just before we end, a quick reminder, our next session is happening tomorrow, Sunday, 25th of May, from 7 to 8:30 p.m. GMT7, featuring the Associate Professor Dr. Wasan Sakuljan from Signal Ward University, Bangkok, on the topic of social return on investment, learn how to measure and maximize your impact. Be sure to join us. It's going to be another valuable session. See you there, and thanks again, everyone. Happy